Hello and welcome back. How exciting. Sunday stitching and the first official prompt for the field notes. Now, as you can see, I've planned what I'm going to do. Now, our first prompt is for bulbs, spring bulbs. So I did very naughtily think, oh, I'll stitch a light bulb, and I thought, behave, Claire. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do alliums. Now, what I'm up to at the moment is here. So I've got this will be stuck here. So this is like the inside cover. This is my information page or introduction page. So my first actual page is this one here. So let's pull that out. Let's get rid of that. Now, I did my field notes here in a font called Harrington, and I want to make sure that I use that font all the way around. So I've already typed out allium there, and that's going to go at the top here. I can't do that with you because in order to do that I use the torch on my phone under a large Pyrex dish and it makes it see-through. So obviously I can't do that with you today, but that's going to go up the top there. I don't know yet whether I'm going to stitch it onto a piece of calico and use one of my Tim Holtz label stamps to go around the edge of it and then stitch it on. We'll see how we go. But with regards to the alliums, well, I'm going to look at doing the globe, which is the great big ball one. It's from the onion flavour family. Onion is a flavour, but there's the globe, the big ball, and then there's the hair one, where a little tiny one with lots of, like somebody's been electrocuted, lots of stringy bits. And then we've got the shaboot, and that's where you've got almost the two combined. So alliums tend to be purples, whites, so they're the colours I'm going to use for them. The two greens will be my stalks, and this is the brown that I've been doing my writing in. They are all my Maxi Sweet Treats, and I'm just going to start by setting out my page. Now, I've got a circle template. I'm going to use the largest one. Now it says 36/8, so I'm guessing that is, yeah, it's basically 36mm. I don't know what the 8 stands for, but anyway, so I'm using that one. And what I thought I would do is I would have the big globe ball type ones, 1, 2, 3, like that. And then obviously their stalks, they're sort of dead straight, their stalks. So that would be like that. And then that's the globe ones. And then the hairy ones, they have a much smaller, now we can't go too high because of that label, they have a much smaller ball, and then they sort of have these mad hairy lines that come out of them. So, and they again have a dead straight stalk. So which one did I use for that? The 34. So then we'll put another one of those there. So I feel like there's not going to be many additions this time, as this one, you know, where I put all the paint splodges and the labels. I think this is just really going to be stitching with a title label at the top. Maybe maybe put one there. It looks like we're working in threes, doesn't it? But then nature does tend to be odd numbers. My page is not really big enough to get fives on or sevens, so that's my threes. And then the Schubert one tends to be one of these, so I think we'll use this one here, and then we'll get another one of them up there. But what they tend to be is more like a sort of dandelion seed head, because then they have like a little globule on top, and then sort of little bits like that. And again, they'll have a very dead straight stalk, and then we'll have our allium here, but we'll have a label round that. So that's basically how this one's going to go. So we've got only two of this one, so this again will be that seed head type one. That'll be that one. And then this one, I don't know yet if I'm going to do all little crosses or if I'm going to do French knots, but that'll be that one. So enough fiddling and messing around, Claire. Let's get started. No, this is definitely going to be crosses, because this one I want to be French knots. So I need a needle. I'm not pulling a needle, what I'm doing is pulling a thread. So that's the brown for my lettering, and I think what I'm going to do is these ones are going to be in the white, these ones are going to be in my dark purple, and these ones are going to be a combination of all three in the French knots, with that lovely green over the top for the leery hair. So we're going to start with these, because these are ones that I am most excited to do. This purple is 282 in the sheepies. Oh dear, how are you? Are you as excited as me? I feel like a kid at a sweet shop, I really do. Been waiting eagerly for the prompts to come out. Sounds mad, being so excited about a piece of stitchery, but I really am. And whoops. So obviously, because I'm trying to do this journaling notebook thing, I'm going to have pages where I don't have hardly any extras, only stitching, and then I'm going to have pages more like this where I have lots of additives. I think it's just going to depend on the subject matter. So I'm going to start there, because they don't tend to be full circles, these ones. So I'm just going to come through there and start with my French knots and just pull on through. There we go, we've started. So I'm going to go randomly across in this colour, and then I'll add the other colour and some white in also. I'd like to say a huge thank you for all of the comments on my previous video. Can't believe how many of you took the time to watch and comment. Thank you, it's very, very much appreciated. All of those likes and comments really help the channel to be seen by others that don't yet know I'm here. So yeah, I mean, I don't feel like I should be doing spring stitching. Looking out of the window, it doesn't feel much like spring, although strictly speaking we've passed spring here and are now in summer, and it looks less like spring than it does summer. We've had rain nearly every day. Oh, it's just so miserable. But hey, we're putting colour in here and we're trying to wake it up. So you'll see that I'm doing these French knots and that bouvier in different sizes. Sometimes I put 2, sometimes I put 3. Just wraps. It just depends on where I'm talking. And I'm deliberately leaving some gaps. Just for filling in with the, sorry, I know it's sliding in and out of camera view. It's just the way it is, I'm afraid. I suppose realistically it might be easier if I put it into a hoop. Oops. Oh, you see, now there's a thread there that I didn't pull, look. Oh well, that's one long thread we've got on the back. Yeah, I suppose it might be easier if I put it in a hoop, but I'm not used to working in a hoop. I find it quite uncomfortable. So I did notice watching Sarah's video this morning, she was answering a number of questions where there was some new people, and she made a comment that I don't know if it actually confused me or not, but she made a comment about considering slow stitching to need like camphor stitch in it. I don't quite understand that. I think it's, you know, to me, I mean, I'm not saying she's wrong, she's one of our hosts, I wouldn't, you know, want to make her wrong, and she's got far more experience than I have. I just feel that for me, slow stitching is about the mindfulness of it. It's about how you feel while you're doing it, and this is obviously making me super happy, isn't it? So yeah, I don't think it matters what stitches you've got, as long as they are, you know, hand stitches. If they're done by hand and they bring you pleasure, then that's the end of that as far as I'm concerned. I didn't quite understand the camphor. In fact, I've got to be honest and say, if I'm wrong and that camphor stitch is something that defines a slow stitch, then I have never and probably will never do any slow stitching, because I never use that. Because for me, unless all your stitches are the same length, it doesn't look neat. Now, you know, this is just my opinion. Please don't be hurt, upset or offended if you've been doing camphor stitch and it's different sizes and you now think I'm, you know, commenting on it, because I'm really not. Right, I'm going to pop down here. I'm just saying that for me, I don't use it. I don't use it because I can't do even length stitches. Those of you that can, I'm in awe of. I think it's wonderful. And so I feel like it, on my work, it looks a bit messy. So I don't like it. I don't use it. So I suppose, realistically, my work tends to be much more of a sort of modern day embroidery, perhaps. I don't know. I'm not going to analyse it. It's not a therapy session. I'm just going to enjoy putting thread on my cloth and being done with it, really. So there we go. These ones I can feel are much smaller. I only intending to do one wrap, so we'll get a big one in here. And it's amazing how just a few stitches in that deep rich purple has woken the page up. Love it. Oh, we've got a 3 wrap there. That's going to be a really big one. As I say, deliberately being uneven. Now, about this thread painting. Am I pleased with it? I'm pleased with it in as much as there's quite a lot of colour on the page. Bring it over that way so you can see a little bit better. There's quite a lot of colour on the page. That's what I was going for, this bright zingy springtime thing. Am I happy with it with regard to thread painting? No, not really. Why? Because it's uneven. There's some areas here that are very solid. There are some areas here that are a little bit more open. Yes, it's nature, and you know, no two leaves tend to be, or petals tend to be the same. So yes, I can sort of get away with it. But in a world of perfection, which I think we crazily all tend to strive for, no, I'm not particularly happy with it. And what I did discover through doing it and watching other people's videos and thinking about it was that one of my main problems was that I was actually doing it on a, it's not white obviously, is it? It's this coffee dyed, but I was doing it on this white background and I couldn't really change it because by the time I realised that, I was done 2 of them. And when I got to the bottom here, I was like, do you know what? You need it to be coloured. So I actually painted the 3 stalks in the green, I say painted, well yeah, painted, with my watercolour pencils, and I feel that's much better. So the answer therefore I have come to is, if you're not doing the thread painting onto a pre-printed image, you know, I've seen lots of the ladies doing it, you know, on a flower of printed fabric, then you need to paint the colour underneath first, and that is what makes the stitching more solid, more rich, etc, etc. So yeah, I learnt a lot doing it, and I would definitely have another go with painting the underneath. So there you go. Okay, so I think that's enough of the dark purple, so I'm just gonna bring my needle through, wrap it round the once, and then trim that off. So that's the dark rich purple, and now I'm going to use the pinky one, which is, oh hang on, that is the one we just used. Now I'm going to use the dark one, which is 113. It was the number I recognised, silly woman. Anyway, so some coffee. Now I've got to be honest and say, I'm not long up. I have been to bed this afternoon with a raging headache, just after lunch I went to bed, and I've had some sleep. Oh, and I feel a whole lot better. I think, or I wouldn't be at all surprised. Do you know what? I'm not going to use that piece because I've damaged that end. Let's get a new piece. I won't be surprised if it's to do with the mugginess of the weather. It's very close and not very nice. So yeah, that's why I'm still drinking my coffee, because I haven't been out of bed long. I hope it doesn't offend anyone. Mind you, why would it? Why would you care whether or not I'm drinking coffee, or indeed whether or not I've been to bed in the middle of the day? Hey, over 18, blah blah blah. Oh. It has, however, made me a little bit like wobbly, so you didn't really need to know that, did you? What is it they say? Just call that a sidebar story. Right, so now we're gonna do exactly the same but with this different colour. Hubby's gone off out. He's doing a couple of meetings this afternoon. Just me and Bo, who, oh goodness me, who's not at all impressed with the mugginess of the weather, and he's snoring in my chair. Seriously, Claire, I can't even get this going now. It's just a simple French knot. There you go. For some reason the needle wasn't coming through. Okay, yes, you can definitely see the difference in the colour. I'm hoping that the camera's picking it up. I think it will be more obvious once I get some of that white, although it's not really white, is it? It's more of a champagne-y off-white colour. I didn't want bright white. I thought that would be a bit sort of glary, if that makes sense. I know it's not going to be glary because it's fabric. Just bear with me 1 second. I'll be back. I just need to turn this fan round. That's what I was saying about it being muggy. Right, hopefully now I can get on. Although that sounds like Boo having a bit of a moan because it's not blowing on her anymore. Sorry baby girl, you'll have to come down here. So we've got 2 weeks to get this prompt done before we get the next one. So no real rush, plenty of time I feel. I know we all have varying schedules. I can't help thinking that was another reason for me choosing small pages, because it's obviously takes much less time to fill them up. So right. Yes, you can definitely see the difference in the purples. It's a little bit, well, for me, hard to do the French knots on camera because I have to keep picking it up and putting it down. I wonder if I had it in a hoop that would be different, who knows. Right. I'm not going to do this colour on the second one because, well, you know, once you've seen it once, what I'm going to do is carry on with the white colour now, and then I'm going to get my green hairy bits on because that's what I'm really excited to do. Right, happy with the second purple, so I'm going to knock this one off and add the white in, or the champagne, whatever you want to call it, and then I can come back and do the other one at a later date. So put that thread there. This one, it's almost like a silver. Yeah, not sure, but I like it. It's going to add another bit of drama, I think. So, and this is 248. Just if anybody wants the colours. And I have had people ask me in the past about the wool and where they, the thread and where they come from. So I get, because I'm in the UK, I get mine from Woolmouse. I know it sounds like a weird name, but that is, oh, that is the name of the company. And these ones, these standard size ones, they are 25 grams, 140 metres, and they are around the £1.50 mark. Well, they definitely are from Woolmouse anyway. I don't know if you bought them somewhere else. This is double the size. This is 50 grams, 280 metres, and that's £3. Just that I've had people start to ask me where I get them from. Somebody else asked me about this stamp. That is a Tim Holtz stamp. I believe the actual set is called Field Notes or something like that, and it's all various labels and little forms that you would fill in for specimens. Because I am mainly a journal maker rather than a stitcher, I do have lots of stamps, which has aided the way I want to do this you know, this one. If you don't have any of the stamps, and you desperately want to have stamps, I could do some calico stamping and offer them. I can't even think about, you know, cost or anything at the moment. Something ridiculous, I don't know, 10 for £2 or something like that. So if you're interested in that, just let me know and we could sort out a way that you could have those stamps without having to buy them. Because, you know, this one here, this dried flowers or dried grasses or whatever it is, that's another, well, it's two different Tim Holtz stamps So if, oh, we got a curly one there. See what happens, Claire, if you keep talking? So yeah, that's something that I could definitely arrange for you. I could stick a bundle of 10 in the post. To be honest, it's probably only going to suit you if you're in the UK, because the postage to somewhere else would probably make it prohibitive. But yeah, in fact I might just do 10, do them as an example, and I'll pop them in my Etsy over the next couple of days, so if they're of use you can grab hold of them, because even if you have got Tim Holtz stamps, the chances are, or another brand, it doesn't have to be Tim Holtz, chances are we've all got different ones, so you know, maybe we can help each other out in that way. And something like that posted in the UK would post for a negligible fee. So right, there we go. So I've got this bundle of French knots here now, and you can see it's not a full circle, it's just like this base, and now I'm going to do my crazy hairdo over the top. So and obviously if I wasn't filming I would have carried on and done all the darker purple and then all these white ones. It's only because A, I'm a bit like a child today and I want to see at least one of them finished, and B, I'm filming. Right, now this green that I'm going to use, lovely bright green, this is 514 in the sheepies. I never quite find the end. How far have I gone? And I still haven't got an end. There it is. Goodness me. I don't need all that, do we? That's because it's a brand new one. I'll chop it off there and use that other bit later. Oh, it does feel nice and bobbly. It's definitely texture on that page, so that's good. Bobbly, of course it does, Claire, they're French knots, duh. See, this is where I've not been up long, goodness me. Right, now crazy hairdo. So they all seem to come, you can look them up on Google or somewhere if you want to. They seem to come sort of up and over and across and real crazy hairdo. So I'm going to go there, and then I'm going to try to bring that up in the same spot, and then we're going to go sort of over, and then we're going to come sort of this way because they are definitely bent, and then we kick up that way, and that'll be that one. And then this one I'm going to do as a bit of a sort of curly curve. So boom, boom, just using back stitch. Well, that one didn't join up very well. And we'll follow this one. Whoops. And then we've got this one here. And obviously I drew all this with my friction pen, so it's going to be easy enough to iron out these lines that I don't want. Mind you, actually I haven't ironed them out from the tulip yet, so it's another little job. Right, where am I going? There. There we go. And that's that one. Oh yes. I'm loving it. Loving the crazy, hairy allium. In fact, whilst I know the big globe onion ball ones, I think everyone knows them, I've never really discovered these until I was Googling spring bulbs to get the idea of what to do for this prompt. And I've actually ordered some for my garden because I just think they're really scatty and awesome, and yeah, I needed some in my life basically. So yeah, here we go. Oh, that's a bit big, Claire. Did a bit of a big stitch there. Let's cheat, make that into a double. You can probably hear Boo snoring now. I did have a lady comment the other day that when I was filming, somebody had been tooting their horn in the street, and she said it made her dog bark, which I thought was quite amusing, in as much as your dogs are usually barking and growling at, I'm going to say my dog rather than her name, because that'll wake her up. But this time it was the noise that was going on in the street. And hey, this crazy haired alum also is a bit different. I didn't want to be doing, you know, I've done the tulips on the front there, and they're fairly sort of standard spring bulbs. I didn't want to then be doing a daffodil or narcissi or whatever, because, well, I want my book to be a bit different. And whilst I know there are daffodils in the Edith Holm book, there probably aren't alums. Hey ho, you know, I'm using Edith Holden Field Notes as a bit of a theme, not to stitch her book, if you know what I mean. I think that's that one done. Let's trim this off and have a look. Oh, yeah, it's just absolutely beautiful. And obviously these greens are in front. There are some behind. I could carry on and do some behind. Perhaps I'll do some behind on that one. But now we need to do the stem. And I think I'm actually going to do the stem in a different colour. Is that going to look odd? I don't think so. I don't think it's going to look odd. This is 394. It's a real sort of dark forest green type colour. So, how long have I been here driving you mad? Oh, a little while. Time is creeping on, as they say. So I'm going to have to do some homework, aren't I, as Corinne would say, because we've only got 2 weeks. So video wise, if I've only got the one flower done, I'm definitely not going to get it done in 2 videos, am I? Because I've got, what have I got, 7 flowers to do? And I have chosen particularly stitchy flowers, if that makes any sense. So yeah, now what are we going to do for this stem? I think I'm just going to go back stitch, but I might decide to whip it. So come up, whoops, like this. And funny enough, they don't seem to have leaves, these things. But at least all the pictures I saw, there was no leaves. There was all just stalk and head. So that's quite interesting, isn't it? Well, I think it is. I've not really been aware of a plant that didn't have leaves before, or, you know, a flower plant. And then I've come across a little bit so that I can weave down there, and you can see I've got a wider neck than I've got on the stalky bit down here. Does that make sense? See, I've sort of just joined that in now. So this is just a double row at the bottom, but then at the top there I've got that gap. So I'm going to whip these 2 rows together, and then I'll do an extra stitch or 2 to fill in that little V at the top. So if I come down and then back out like that, turn my needle round, use the end and just whip through those 2 lines of stitches. That should give me a nice strong looking stalk for my allium. And it's been really quick and easy to do. Now I've got to the top, I'm gonna jump into the middle, go about halfway, come back, find it, and then go right into the base of the flower there, and then bring it back down. So that's basically filled in that hole. And then if I come out there, turn it round, and then I can just whip those last couple of stitches. So there's 2, and then there's 3, like that. One more, I think, and then just down and through to the back. There you go. So pull that through and give that a little, whoops, snippy snip snip. And there is the first flower. Oh, I love it. I absolutely love it. So I'm going to sit here and do the other 3, and maybe even do 1 or 2 of these as some homework, and then we'll come back next week and see if we can't all but finish it off. So there you go. At the moment, that's what we've got. Got our inside cover, we've got our introduction page, which is going to sit like that, and then we've got page 1, which is this alum. As always, I'd like to say a huge thank you for you coming along and spending time with me today. Hope you found some joy and inspiration, maybe even some ideas to help you along your way. Stay safe. I'll see you very soon. Ta-ta for now.